Over the past few weeks, we have gotten some big updates to our tiny floating home. Two of the biggest updates that we featured on the channel were the installation of our tiny wood stove and our STARLINK best effort. We've gotten a ton of questions on both of those, just how it's working, any issues we've run into. So this week, we'd like to share our experiences with the wood stove and the STARLINK so far. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We really appreciate y'all watching and learning alongside us as we try to live a simpler, freer, and greener life.
Most men come home, they chop wood with a big axe. We
Baby axe.
chop it with a baby axe.
Tiny axe for tiny wood for a tiny stove and a tiny home.
Alright guys, so we've had the wood stove for a week. It's a tiny home wood stove, so I just took regular sticks or firewood and basically cut them into thirds and was burning sticks like this in there, which worked really good. We've seen temperatures to 35 degrees outside and the house is dry heat 77 or so, so it's warm. So it's working too good because we only burnt 9 of these, which is 3 regular locks like this for a whole night to stay warm and keep the house hot, which was too hot. So we decided that we would take these and then chop them down into these. So now we're going to try to use less wood. So this thing's super efficient. It makes a lot of good dry heat. It's actually dried the boat out. And at the end of the day, this has turned out to be a really great little investment that'll pay for itself over time.
Now, there is one hiccup that we've had over the past week with this. We've been playing around with the numbers a little bit and trying to figure out exactly how hot it burns and just making sure everything's in line with the ratings for the pipe. And we're a little bit concerned about, like lately it's been working just fine, but when we get into those nights that are like 15 degrees outside and we're burning it for an extended amount of time, we are a little concerned about the rating on our pipe. The information that we had when we originally purchased this was not completely correct. Knowing what we know now, it's one of those things where it's like a 99% chance that this pipe would always work just fine for us, but seeing as we are quite literally playing with fire, I guess we just want to be 100% sure, so we may be swapping this pipe out for something with a little higher rating soon, which, you know, would be a pain and even more expensive, but safety is always the priority, so that's something that we're working on navigating currently.
The stove's got a damper on the top and damper on the bottom. We're looking at buying one of those little fans that you put on here that works off of heat, and it'll blow the heat around the house, but we hadn't gotten into the temperatures yet where it's 20 degrees outside to see if we need more. The house is so airtight that the heat stays in all night, so we don't even get up in the night to actually put more wood on the fire yet. I'm sure we'll probably have to as winter arises.
I gotta tell you guys though, it's been awesome, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, I am like extremely cold-natured all the time. Like even in the middle of the summer, everywhere I go I'm bringing a jacket because as soon as I get somewhere with AC I'm like shivering. But with this stove, I have actually been like warm, like legitimately comfortably warm, like shedding layers kind of warm. Granted, it hasn't been that cold outside, but it's like, that's a different kind of heat, you know? It's a dry heat for sure, but it's been so nice. Not to mention the whole, you know, moisture thing that we keep talking about, like that is legitimately not an issue anymore. I'm so amazed. It's been a huge difference. I could go on all day, but I think you get the point. We're loving it. He's gonna get you, Bear. It's gonna get you. So our STARLINK was another thing people have been asking about, and I would say it's been working pretty well.
Yeah, the STARLINK works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's super fast internet. The main concern was power consumption since we run off solar power and batteries. Main thing for people that don't have electricity and using it off the grid, when you look at the new STARLINK dish, it's only supposed to be 60, 70, 80 watts of power, which could be a good bit for a smaller system, but apparently the STARLINK only runs off of 30 watts of electricity. If you have to have the heater on it to melt snow, I'm sure that's when it jumps up to 70, 80 watts. So I'll just pull up the app on the house here. This is our inverter, and this is the power consumption that we're running right now, which is anywhere from 30 to 39, 40 watts, which is very minimum. We have lights on, stuff's being charged right now, but the STARLINK is basically running on 30 watts, which is not a lot. So far we've not really had any issues with power consumption in STARLINK. It seems to be fairly low, a lot lower than the website suggests. But like I said, I think it's the snow melt option.
What kind of speeds have we had lately?
We see anything from 70 to 120, 150, it just depends.
Yeah, it seems to vary a lot, just depending on, like, I guess, how much other people are using.
Yeah, right now it's running at
120, 30 something.
136. And it's not megabytes per second.
Yeah, we learned last week, somebody told us. Megabits. Sorry
Bits
about
and
that.
Bytes, they're obviously different, but for us laymen,
we're not pros.
For us laymen, 136 is huge for us because we used to run on about 1 to 1.5. So overall, STARLINK off the grid doesn't require a lot of electricity to make it work. It seems to be perfectly fine. Alright guys, next week's video, we got 6 30-yard dumpsters. We're going to try to fill these full of trash.
Every single one of them.
From the lake. So come back next week and we'll see if we can fill these up in 3 days. It's just 3 days.
Can we do it?
6 30-yard dumpsters.
We'll find out.
Let's roll.